India supporter Marco Rubio tipped for Secretary of State. Mike Waltz, who heads a committee of lawmakers on India and Indian Americans, likely to be the National Security Advisor. India and Russia hold a meeting of the Intergovernmental Commission on Trade, Economic, Scientific, Technical and Cultural Cooperation in New Delhi. UN Chief Antonio Guterres asks world leaders at COP29 to pay up or face climate-led disaster for humanity. US President-elect Donald Trump has begun the process of choosing a cabinet and seeking other high-ranking administration officials following his presidential election victory. The cabinet appointees will have a direct impact on implementing Trump's policies in his second term. Here are the early picks for some of the key posts overseeing defense, intelligence, diplomacy, trade, immigration and economic policy making.
Donald Trump continues to pick his team ahead of taking charge as the 47th president of the US. Florida Senator Marco Rubio is set to be the US Secretary of State. Rubio is a known India supporter, having introduced the US-India Defense Cooperation Act to expand bilateral cooperation and strengthen the security partnership between the two nations in July this year. He advocates a tough stance on China and is an ardent support for Ukraine. Mike Waltz, a National Guard colonel, will serve as the National Security Advisor. This pick also augurs well for Indo-US relations. Waltz is the co-chair of the Congressional Caucus on India and Indian Americans and has advocated for stronger US defense and security cooperation with India. He has been advocating for a more aggressive US defense posture in the Indo-Pacific. These two key appointments in Trump's second administration signal the continuous bipartisan support and further strengthening of the bilateral ties. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem has been assigned as the task of Homeland Security Secretary. Former Congressman Lee Zeldin will lead the EPA. Former ICE Director Tom Homan returns as Border Czar, focusing on immigration enforcement. Elise Stefanik will be the US ambassador to the UN, pushing for a more US-centric approach, especially on Israel in the Israel-Hamas conflict. Susan Wiles, a key Trump campaign strategist, will be the White House Chief of Staff. These picks reflect Trump's priority in security, diplomacy, immigration, and the environment. Bureau Report, DD India.
The grind of US election season is behind us. Here's a story of a New York City-based dance company called Battery Dance that shows how performance art has the power to bring diverse people and cultures together. The story of Jonathan Holder has a special India connect too. DD India's Shubhendu Ghosh reports.
Dance has always been a powerful tool of expression. The rhythmic moves tell a story that words often fail. This is Battery Dance, a New York-based dance company that aims to create lasting social impact by increasing human understanding and improving lives through the universal expression of dance.
We've worked in 75 countries around the world, so connecting people, creating beautiful art, uplifting people who don't have the same advantages that we do. So my first exposure to dance really happened in India when I was a teenager living in Mumbai. There's no country that has the diversity of dance in India. I created a production called Songs of Tagore, and I also created a work called Shakti.
Battery Dance performs on the world's stages, teaches, presents and advocates for the field of dance. Through the award-winning Dancing to Connect program, the company uses dance as a tool for building social cohesion and resolving conflicts throughout the world.
So we created a program called Dancing to Connect in 2006, and little did we know that that program that started in Germany, Cambodia, and New York would go around the world to 65 countries, and among them Israel and the Palestinian territories. And what we find is dance is universal, and if we can get away from politics and away from the differences in cultures and religion and just find the common humanity of young people, and that's what we have been able to do through Dancing to Connect.
Battery performances are characterized by choreography and music inspired by worldwide sources, reflecting American society and its multiplicity of cultures. In a world torn by divisions and differences, life and works of Jonathan Hollander is a testimony that hearts can be brought closer and cultures together in a common symphony. With camera person Jay Shankar, Shubhendu Ghosh for DD India in New York.
Germany is set to hold a snap election on 23rd of February. The Social Democrats, Greens and Conservatives have reached a compromise on the date of poll. The timing of a confidence vote still remains open though. Opposition parties wanted a vote as early as January, but Chancellor Olaf Scholz warned that the January vote would overstretch the electoral authorities during the holiday season, leaving parties unprepared. Scholz, who runs a minority government with the backing of the Greens, hopes to secure enough opposition support to pass laws to protect the Constitutional Court from the far right and to fund Ukraine before leaving office. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Russia's first Deputy Prime Minister Denis Manturov co-chaired the 25th session of the India-Russia Intergovernmental Commission on Trade, Economic, Scientific, Technological and Cultural Cooperation in New Delhi on Tuesday. Minister Jaishankar was confident that India would achieve a trade target of $100 billion before 2030.
There have been challenges to trade, especially in regard to payments and logistics. Perceptible progress has been made in that regard, but there is still some work to be done. Our joint endeavors in regard to connectivity, such as the International North-South Transport Corridor, the Chennai-Vladivostok Corridor, and the Northern Sea Route, must go forward. We will also be discussing cooperation critical for our food, energy, and health security. Russia has emerged as a major source of fertilizers for us. Its supply of crude oil, coal and uranium are indeed important. Similarly, India's pharmaceutical industry has emerged as an affordable and reliable source for Russia. Looking ahead, we are also exploring the mobility of talent and skills. Customizing them for the Russian market has to be a shared enterprise. Excellency, I am confident that we will achieve the trade target of $100 billion by 2030, well before that.
Minister Manturov confirmed Russia's strong commitment on signing a free trade agreement between the EU and India, as well as a bilateral agreement on services and investments.
Over the last 5 years, trade turnover of our country has grown more than fivefold, and India is now the second country among all the foreign economic partners of Russia. The positive tendency is maintained this year as well. Over the first 8 months, the trade turnover has grown by 9% as compared to last year. We confirm our strong commitment on signing the free trade agreement between the EU and India, as well as bilateral agreement on services and investments. This fully meets the needs of our business community.
As the US ramped up pressure on Israel to address the Gaza aid crisis, Israel said that it has met most of the demands by the US ahead of the deadline. But Israel also said that a number of other things remained under discussion. Israeli army video released on Tuesday showed trucks carrying humanitarian aid entering Gaza through the new Kisufim aid crossing. Earlier in a letter, the Biden government warned Israel of potential halt to arms transfers if it did not take action to let more humanitarian aid into Gaza. Among the US demands, which Israel appears to have refused, is allowing the entry of 50 to 100 commercial trucks a day. Israel on Tuesday launched at least 10 airstrikes in Beirut's southern suburbs, causing blasts that shook the capital around mid-morning. The explosion followed an Israeli military warning identifying 12 sites in the southern suburbs, saying that it would strike Hezbollah targets there. Earlier in the day, Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz said that there will be no ceasefire in Lebanon, reiterating that Israel will continue strikes on Hezbollah targets until the war objectives are met. Hezbollah launched a fresh strike on Israel with a barrage of over 90 missiles aimed towards the northern region. Earlier on Monday, Israel said that the Iron Dome intercepted most rockets, but some hit Haifa Bay. The interception was caught on camera stationed in Tiberias on the shore of the Sea of Galilee. North Korea ratified a defense treaty with Russia pledging mutual military aid in case of an attack. On Tuesday, North Korea's state media reported that this defense deal was signed by the leaders of the two countries in June, with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un signing a decree to ratify the pact on Monday. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has signed the treaty into law, stipulating mutual assistance. The announcement came at a crucial time amid growing international concerns over military cooperation between Moscow and Pyongyang, with North Korea having sent its troops to Russia to support its conflict with Ukraine. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Indian government's workforce celebrated the National Learning Week through the initiative called Karma Yogi Saptah. Bitcoin hits a record peak on bets on assets that are set to benefit from the new Trump administration.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. The 18th Prasar Bharati Divas is scheduled to take place from 8th to 10th of January 2025 in Odisha. Its official website was launched in the presence of External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Chief Minister of Odisha Mohan Charan Majhe. 18th Prasar Bharati Divas celebrates the contributions of the Indian diaspora and will take place in the Janta Maidan in Bhubaneswar. The event is expected to bring together prominent members of the Indian diaspora, facilitating discussions on key issues and opportunities for collaboration. India's government workforce came together in an extraordinary journey of learning and growth through Karma Yogi Saptah, a National Learning Week initiative from October 19th to 27th. Launched by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, it is a movement that brought public servants across departments closer. Over 4 lakh government employees prioritized professional development by dedicating at least 4 hours to learning. DD India's Abhishek Mahajan spoke to Capacity Building Commission's chairman Adil Zainul Bhai on the impact of the initiative.
Chairman of Capacity Building Commission, Mr. Adil Zainul Bhai is with us. Welcome, sir. Welcome to DD India.
Thank you.
Appreciate you giving us your precious time. First of all, sir, tell us about the National Learning Week. Karma Yogi Saptah. Tell us about its significance and what led to the creation of Karma Yogi Saptah.
A learning management system which can provide digital courses. And we had also got a lot of courses on it. So the question was, can we do a catalytic event which will get everybody's attention and get everyone used to taking courses on iGot? And that the idea of lifelong learning, which the Honorable PM talks about, takes root. So even though quite a few courses had been taken on iGot, we felt that something like a National Learning Week could bring everybody together on one mission. So that was the idea. So it lasted for a week. Obviously, all the courses on iGot, of which there are 1,400, were available to everybody. We had recommended some courses for individuals, but they were free to take any course they wanted. And there were 30 webinars of eminent personalities talking about various subjects like artificial intelligence, semiconductors, stress management, etc., both Indian and international. The most popular course actually was a course on Viksit Bharat. Okay. As you know, Honorable PM talks about Viksit Bharat, but it was important that all civil servants understand what it means. And so there was a very good 1-hour course on Viksit Bharat, which a large number of people, something like 500,000 people took it. By the way, one of the top 6 courses was yoga at the workplace. We are all sitting, right? And how can you make sure that even while you're sitting and in the workplace, you can do yoga? One of the very popular seminars was on stress management by Sri Ravi Shankar. Even secretaries took courses. We have 2 or 3 secretaries who took 19 courses and 9 courses and did it right through and through. People in the PMO, people in the Cabinet Secretariat, people in Niti Aayog, all took courses. I think it has worked so well that Honorable PM has now said, why don't you take it to the states? Right now we focused on 3 million central civil servants, but there's 22 million state civil servants. So our next big jump is to take it to the states and urban local bodies.
A lot of, you're saying a lot of buzz was created, even joint secretaries took part. You also want to mention about the impact of that National Learning Week created?
So I think, of course, how people, how it shows up in their behavior is, of course, we'll see over time. But 1 or 2 things we know for sure. One is people have now gotten used to the idea of learning digitally. Yeah. They've gotten used to the idea of lifelong learning, which we can see because the number of courses, even after National Learning Week is over, have gone up, right? That means people are taking more. Third, a very large number of people now understand 2 or 3 things collectively. One is they understand what is Viksit Bharat, what is the direction you're trying to go in. What are some of the Indic systems of knowledge, how to do Jan Bhagidari, and what is Mission Karma Yogi? Because all these 4 courses, a lot of people took. So the impact is that their mind shift that occurs from I am a civil servant, regulating people, to I am a civil servant who's trying to serve the citizen better. All of them learnt a little bit about that. Now we will see how it manifests itself, but I think that is the impact.
And you think it is a powerful reminder that what happens, what all is possible when country invests on the growth of public servants?
I think Honorable PM has been talking about this from the time he became PM, right? Which is that, how can we make sure that we are fully using the full capabilities of civil servants to deliver on Viksit Bharat.
Thank you for speaking with DD India.
Thank you.
All right, with cameraman Uttam Singh, this is Abhishek Mahajan in Delhi for DD India.
Alka Mittal, Member Admin Capacity Building Commission, shared her insights on National Learning Week. Take a look.
The learning which is going to make a very qualitative impact on the way we are contributing towards creating the Viksit Bharat we keep talking about, we keep wishing to contribute towards. This is a unique landmark, I would say, in the learning journey of Indians who are looking forward towards Vikas with total garv, as we have talked about the Sankalps, and we see it as our Kartavya.
Dr. R. Balasubramaniam, Member HR Capacity Building Commission, shared his insights on National Learning Week and on Indian knowledge system.
The National Learning Week can be said as a festival of learning which the Honorable Prime Minister launched. Along with the launching of this National Learning Week, he also launched a very important learning tool that we are all using at the Capacity Building Commission, the Karmyogi Competency Model. Now, this model draws its inspiration from Panch Pran and the call given by the Honorable Prime Minister. It also draws strength from decolonizing our thinking and designing a public administration model and a competency framework that is driven by our own Indian knowledge systems. It's also something which is contextually relevant and culturally very appropriate for the Indian ecosystem. It is something which draws a lot of strength from history, but prepares our civil servants to be ready for the future.
Next, updates from the COP29 summit underway in Baku, Azerbaijan. In his keynote speech at COP29 summit, Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev hit out at Western critics of his country's oil and gas industry, saying that it had been the victim of a well-orchestrated campaign of slander and blackmail. The comments came on the second day of a summit at which nearly 200 nations are meeting to discuss how they can cut fossil fuel emissions. And moments before, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said doubling down on fossil fuels was an absurd strategy. Azerbaijan's oil and gas revenues accounted for 35% of its economy in 2023, down from 50% 2 years earlier.
When they call us petrostate now, today, this is not fair, and it only demonstrates a lack of political culture and knowledge. Today, Azerbaijan's share in global oil production is 0.7%. In global gas production is 0.9%. But fake news media of the country, which is #1 oil and gas producer in the world and produces 30 times more oil than Azerbaijan, call us petrostate. They'd better look at themselves.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres asked world leaders at COP29 on Tuesday to pay up to prevent climate-led humanitarian disasters. He said that time was running out to limit a destructive rise in global temperatures.
The clean energy revolution is here. No group, no business, and no government can stop it. But you can and must ensure it is fair and fast enough to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. COP29 must tear down the walls of climate finance. Developing countries must not leave Baku empty-handed. A deal is a must, and I'm confident it will be reached.
On to China now. A hit-and-run attack at a sports center in the southern Chinese city of Zhuhai killed 35 people and injured 43. This was after a 62-year-old driver rammed his car into people exercising at a sports center in southern China's Zhuhai city on Monday. Police said their preliminary investigation suggested that the incident was triggered by the suspect's discontent following a divorce. He was being treated after hurting himself with a knife in his car. President Xi Jinping ordered all-out efforts to treat the injured and demanded severe punishment for the perpetrator. The US dollar traded close to a 4-month peak against major peers on Tuesday, while Bitcoin extended its record rally as investors continued to pile into trades. Leading cryptocurrency Bitcoin BTC pushed to a new all-time peak of a record $90,000, having gained 30% in the week since the election. US President-elect Donald Trump has vowed to make the US the crypto capital of the planet. The US dollar index rose 0.07% to 105.49 after reaching 105.70 on Monday for the first time since 3rd of July. In Nepal, the price of large cardamom has surged due to rising global demand. Currently, the market price is nearing a record 2,500 per kg in local currency. This high-value cash crop is primarily grown in eastern Nepal, which accounts for 68% of the world's production, making the country the largest producer of large cardamom, followed by India and Bhutan. The spice is a key ingredient in South Asian cuisine. And on to some sporting action now. As per sources, media reports circulating on the denial of visas to Pakistani players for the ongoing Scrabble tournament in India has been scrapped, saying that they are factually incorrect. 12 visas were issued to the Pakistani team on 7th of November this year, well in time for them to travel to India for these events. This included the defending champion of the Asia Cup and the reigning World Youth Champion. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended a heartfelt congratulations to billiard star Pankaj Advani for winning a record 28th World Billiards title. On Saturday, ace Indian queuist Pankaj Advani clinched a historic 28th world title, defeating England's Robert Hall 4-2 at the IBSF World Billiards Championship in Doha. Prime Minister Modi took to social media platform X to congratulate Pankaj Advani for his exemplary win. He wrote, "A phenomenal accomplishment. Congratulations to you. Your dedication, passion and commitment are outstanding. You have time and again demonstrated what excellence is. Your success will keep inspiring upcoming athletes." So that's it for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And for those on the go, you can download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.